Lemme has entered the gut health world, but is their product actually good? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be diving into yet another Lemme product known as Lemme Number 2. And hopefully by the name, you know what it's all about. But if not, Lemme says that their product is all about promoting gut health and regularity by supporting a healthy gut microbiome. So in today's video, we are going to be diving into Lemme Number 2, including their claims, all of their ingredients, and whether or not I think it's actually worth buying. But first, hi, my name is Katey. I'm a registered dietitian and certified personal trainer. My goal with this channel is to help you learn more about nutrition, fitness, and wellness so that you can be your best, whatever that looks like. I also love to do product reviews, so if you have any products or topics that you want me to cover, just let me know in the comments below. All right, so let's get started. What is Lemme Number 2? Lemme Number 2 is yet another product by Kourtney Kardashian's company called Lemme. And I have reviewed tons of Lemme's products before, so if you want to check those out after watching this video, there are tons that you can review. And I'll also put the links in the description box below. But basically, Lemme Number 2 is a fiber and probiotic gummy, and its main goal is to help support gut health and promote bowel regularity. It contains a few ingredients that are supposed to help with this, including prebiotic fiber, probiotics, as well as vitamin D. So let's dive into all of the different ingredients. First, we'll start off with dietary fiber. First, let's talk about dietary fiber because that is the main star of this product. Fiber is something that almost everyone should focus on. Yes, absolutely, there are going to be some exceptions. So for example, people with diseases of the gut, but for the general population, fiber is something we certainly need to focus on a lot. Now, Lemme claims that 95% of Americans do not get enough fiber in their diet. And while the numbers can vary a little bit, they are generally correct in saying this. And it can be applied to most Western nations. And this is not a good thing at all. Fiber is so important for our gut health. And the best analogy I can give, and I've given it in many videos, is think of consuming fiber like lifting weights before your gut. It helps to keep your gut nice and strong. By eating fiber-rich foods, it helps to strengthen the lining of our gut, which helps us digest food a lot better and support other functions of our body, such as our immune system. On top of that, eating a fiber-rich diet helps to feed the healthy bacteria in our gut, known as our gut microbiome. Now, most people do not eat enough fiber-rich foods, and there are lots of different foods that contain a lot of fiber. So things like vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, beans, lentils, and whole grains. These are all really good sources of fiber. So basically what Lemme has done is they have added some fiber to their gummy supplement to help increase your overall intake. Now, you can't see it directly on the supplement facts table, but they do use a type of fiber known as fructooligosaccharides for this prebiotic fiber they mentioned. So fructooligosaccharides are a type of prebiotic fiber. So whenever you hear the term prebiotics, all I want you to think of is food for our gut microbiome. Basically, bacteria and other microorganisms like to feed off of prebiotics, which are types of fiber, in order for them to flourish and grow. Now, the thing to keep in mind is our gut microbiome almost exclusively lives in our large intestine. So when we consume foods that are high in fructooligosaccharides or other prebiotics, they go through our small intestine and they survive, and then they enter our large intestine where all of those bacteria live. And these bacteria like to feed off of that fiber as a food and energy source. And so they can survive and replicate and flourish even more, helping you establish a really nice, healthy environment, which is known as our gut microbiome. And over time, establishing a really healthy and diverse gut microbiome can contribute to our overall health. So for example, they can help produce byproducts known as short-chain fatty acids, and two main examples are butyrate and propionate. And these compounds are linked with many different health benefits. So for example, reducing inflammation, improving gut health by acting as an energy source for colonocytes or gut cells, and these end up helping support a really healthy gut barrier, and also reducing risk of various chronic diseases. So these bacteria don't just live in our gut, but they actually work really hard to support our overall gut health and general health. Now, when it comes to the type of prebiotic that is added to Lemme, this is known as fructooligosaccharides, like I mentioned. So this is only one type of prebiotic fiber. Keep in mind that there are foods that do contain fructooligosaccharides. So this includes things like onions, garlic, asparagus, chicory root, Jerusalem artichokes, green bananas, and so many other foods. So when it comes to Lemme supplements, they take this type of fiber that is found in these natural foods and they add it to their supplement. So while it does sound great that Lemme has a type of prebiotic fiber in this supplement, we have to ask ourselves a couple questions. One, is it actually going to strengthen the gut? And two, is it going to support your gut microbiome? Because these these are two things that are going to play a huge role in the overall health of our gut. The thing I have to say straight at the beginning is that the best thing you can absolutely do is consume whole foods, particularly foods that are high in fiber. And the reason why is because fiber-rich foods can contribute to our gut health in so many different ways. For example, they help to feed our healthy gut bacteria, and they also act as what's known as roughage and helps to clean out our intestine. The thing to keep in mind when you're actually consuming whole foods is that you're not consuming one specific nutrient and that's it. It's a combination of things. So when you are consuming fiber-rich foods, oftentimes you're consuming more than one type of fiber. And there are tons of different types of fiber, but they fall generally under two categories. So insoluble fiber and soluble fiber. So with soluble fiber, this just means that it is soluble in water, and what it does is it acts like a gel. And when you consume foods that are high in soluble fiber, they go through your small intestine and help to clean things up a little bit by absorbing excess cholesterol or excess sugar or any type of waste and help your body actually get rid of it through your stool. So this can help to do a lot of things such as cleaning out our gut, but also helping lower our risk of different chronic diseases like heart disease or type 2 diabetes. The other type of fiber is known as insoluble fiber, and the best way to think of insoluble fiber is kind of like a broom. So it acts as what's known as roughage, and it goes through our intestine and helps clean it out. On top of that, it contributes to the bulk of our stool, so it can actually help you go to the washroom more frequently and help you relieve some feelings of bloating or being a little bit constipated. Beyond that, eating fiber-rich foods helps keep you full, and that is something that not a lot of people realize or appreciate. So if you are on a weight loss or a weight management journey and you're trying to find ways to, stay full a little bit longer and not get so hungry all the time, one thing you can do is try to eat more dense foods like fiber-rich foods because it takes longer for your gut to break these down, and so you stay full a lot longer. And keep in mind, when you are eating different types of fiber, you're fueling your gut bacteria with different types of fibers. So yes, it's great that Lemme has one type of prebiotic. There's more than one type out there. Beyond the fact that obviously fiber-rich foods do contain fiber, they also contain a variety of other nutrients. Remember that when you are consuming whole foods, you're getting more than just one thing. So yes, you're getting fiber, but you're also getting vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytochemicals, and so on. So by eating a variety of different fruits and different vegetables and whole grains and beans and lentils and nuts and seeds, you're getting so many different nutrients along with the fiber. And so this is very, very good for your health, and unfortunately, it's just not advertised very much because it's hard to sell. With fiber supplements, I'm not saying that they're necessarily terrible because they do play a role and can help some people, but a lot of the time these fiber supplements contain maybe one or two different types of fiber. So when it comes to Lemme number 2, it only contains fructooligosaccharides, so one type. And so you're clearly not going to get the same benefits that you would from consuming whole fiber-rich foods. So while I'm not saying it's terrible, I would never use it as a primary source of fiber in your diet. If anything, you can use it as an adjunct in addition to an already healthy diet. But even then, if you're already having a pretty nutrient-dense fiber-rich diet, you probably actually don't need the supplement to begin with. But if you are new to eating fiber-rich foods, the best thing you can do is try to gradually increase your fiber intake. Don't do it all at once because sometimes you can feel a little bloated. Your body has to get used to it, and make sure that you're drinking plenty of water. So to answer the first question, it's very uncertain that taking Lemme number 2 is actually going to support the strength of your gut because remember, fiber actually plays a physical role. It can help a little bit maybe, but I'm not fully convinced. In terms of the second question, which is does it support our gut microbiome, the answer isn't as clear. Technically speaking, yes, consuming fructooligosaccharides are going to support your gut microbiome, and the bacteria in your gut do like to feed off of it. However, most research is focused on when people get those fructooligosaccharides as part of an actual diet from food. In terms of taking fructooligosaccharides as a supplement to support gut health, especially the gut microbiome, the research isn't as clear and there just isn't as much available. That being said, there is some data out there. So there was a 2022 meta-analysis, and a meta-analysis is just a study that looks at all the studies that are available out there and runs different analyses on their data. And they found that supplementing with fructooligosaccharides had limited effect on the gut microbiome. With that being said, it did lead to a minor but yet statistically significant increase in a bacteria strain known as bifidobacterium. And this type of bacteria is beneficial for our gut health. The caveat though is when they did these analyses, they found that it was really only effective in increasing that one strain of bacteria when they consumed about 7.5 grams to 15 grams, and they had to consume it for at least 4 weeks or longer. If you take a look at the supplement facts table for Lemme, per serving it only has 4 grams of fiber, so this is lower than the amount that was found to be effective in the study. Does this mean that because Lemme has a lower dose than what was found effective in the studies that it's not going to help at all? Not necessarily, we just don't know because the limited data available suggests that 7.5 grams was the minimum amount needed to find significant benefits. And it's really challenging to know because Lemme doesn't provide any studies on their actual supplements. So when you go to their website, they just give you the information available in terms of ingredients, but there are no clinical trials on taking Lemme, so we don't know if the product's actually effective or not. So at this time, we don't know if the dose of fiber that is found in Lemme number 2 is enough to actually promote these benefits. Could help a little bit, but it's uncertain at this time. The good news is that when they did this meta-analysis, they found that there weren't really any GI upset or side effects associated with taking fructooligosaccharides in those higher doses. The issue with fructooligosaccharides is that some people are very, very sensitive to them, as well as other prebiotics. And the reason why is because when these prebiotics are being eaten by the gut bacteria, they produce byproducts, and some of those byproducts are gas. And so because they produce gas, it can lead to bloating and feeling a little bit upset in the stomach. So basically what we can take away from that study is that if in higher doses, most people didn't have negative side effects, if you were to take Lemme number 2, which has a lower dose, it's unlikely that it will lead to negative side effects because it's in a lower dose. With that being said, some people are very sensitive to fructooligosaccharides in particular, so you might have side effects if you're very sensitive, so be aware of that. So there are some pros and there are some cons, and there is some mixed data out there in terms of if you're going to feel noticeable side effects from supplementing with something like fructooligosaccharides. Ultimately, it's probably based down to the individual. Overall, when it comes to whether or not the fiber content in Lemme number 2 is actually going to support the gut microbiome, it's really difficult to say at this time because the dose is much lower than what is found in research, and Lemme doesn't provide any actual studies on their product itself. For some people, if they are already eating a very, very low fiber diet, the addition of any fiber might have some positive benefits and may contribute a little bit to some improvements in perhaps maybe your bowel movements or maybe for bloating, but it just really depends on the individual. But because of all this uncertainty, I would much rather you just focus on eating fiber-rich foods than taking this type of supplement for its fiber content. So the next ingredient we're going to talk about is probiotics. So let's take a look at their probiotic complex, which has 2 different types of probiotics added to them. And just as a reminder, a probiotic is a type of beneficial bacteria that may confer different health benefits. So this product contains 2 different strains of probiotics. The first one is Bacillus subtilis, and the second one is Bacillus coagulans. And when you look at the supplement facts table, you'll notice that beside each of these probiotics, they have brackets with letters and numbers. That just means it's a specific strain that is trademarked by a specific company that produces it. So Lemme says that these 2 probiotics are clinically studied to help support gut health. And also they may help to reduce digestive discomfort and occasional gas. So here's the thing, they are correct in saying that these 2 strains are clinically studied. Lemme doesn't study them by any stretch of the imagination, but other research studies have found them to be effective in clinical trials. And there are quite a few studies that do suggest that these 2 particular strains of probiotics, when in doses as low as 1 billion CFUs, which is what Lemme uses per strain, does seem to actually be effective for some people. In particular, some benefits are increased stool production as well as frequency, so how often you're going to the washroom, helping with general bloating and overall gut health. So does this mean because Lemme has these 2 awesome probiotic strains that they are going to work wonders for you? Unfortunately, probably not. The issue with the topic of probiotics is that it's actually very, very complicated, and I'm sure that people who are experts in probiotics probably even look at this video and go, wow, this is very, very surface level, because it is a very complicated topic and very nuanced. The thing about probiotics is that there are so many different strains, they are given in so many different doses, and we all have different gut microbiomes. So we all have our own unique makeup of different bacteria and microorganisms in our gut. Some people may have really well-balanced, healthy gut microbiomes because they eat a very nutritious diet, perhaps their genetics allow for that, they live in a good environment, and so on. Other people may experience gut dysbiosis, which is basically just an unbalanced gut microbiome. And so because everyone's a little bit different, they may require different treatments, they may require different diets, and they may have different outcomes with taking probiotics. And there are so many factors that can play a role in our microbial health besides just consuming probiotics and our diet. Also things like our environment, our stress levels, our physical activity levels, our genetics. All of these things play a key role in how our gut microbiome develops. So while I do think it is awesome that they do use well-studied strains, and kudos to them for doing so, I don't necessarily want to sit here and tell you that taking these probiotics, especially in the form of a gummy supplement, is somehow going to work wonders for you. The other thing is that when it comes to gut issues, I find a lot of people say they have gut issues, which is certainly something that I think we need to start paying attention to if so many people are saying it, but there are different causes of gut issues. Some people have excessive constipation. Some people have more frequent bowel movements than they would want to and may experience more diarrhea. Some people are sensitive to certain foods. Some people are just bloated and they can't figure out why. And some people, unfortunately, may have actual diseases associated with the gut, such as Crohn's disease or colitis. And so we need to be very, very careful with just taking a random probiotic supplement without doing more research into why you are having gut issues to begin with. And like I say in all of my videos, you need to find the root cause of some of your issues before we start just taking random supplements trying to fix it. And so as a responsible person, I'm going to say that the best thing that you can do if you are having regular gut issues, if you are occasionally bloated, or perhaps maybe you on and off have some constipation or whatever the issue is, then I probably don't think you need to actually go and see somebody. It is pretty normal to have some fluctuations in your digestion. But if you are having regular routine issues that are causing problems in your life, it is very important that you go see a regulated health professional. For example, seeing a gastroenterologist, or seeing a registered dietitian that specializes in gut health. These are types of people that are going to be able to assess your situation and be able to give you qualified personal advice. And so while I don't hate the idea that this product has these probiotics, I just don't really think at this time we can say for certain that they're going to do very much for you. They may help a little bit for sure, especially because these two strains do have some data behind them, but I'm not overly convinced that they're going to be working wonders for you. So while I know it is tempting to just buy a probiotic supplement hoping it's going to address some of your issues, unless you start figuring out what's causing them, this is a very band-aid solution that may not do anything for you. So finally, let's talk about vitamin D. The last ingredient to look at is the vitamin D added to this product, and it is in a dose of 20 micrograms or 800 international units. And this is a pretty standard regular dose for supplements, so I don't have a ton to say about it. When it comes to vitamin D, Lemme says that it's going to support immune health, it's going to support a healthy gut microbiome, and it helps to increase calcium absorption in the gut. And this is all true. However, it's not unique to Lemme. These are just standard things that vitamin D does on a regular basis, whether you get it from the sun or you get it through a supplement. So to say these things is pretty basic. So for example, vitamin D absolutely plays a role in immune health. It has nothing to do with the supplement. It absolutely plays a role in calcium absorption. And you can basically open up any standard nutrition textbook, and in one of the first paragraphs, you're gonna see something like this. What I will say is that it's not harmful in any way, and adding vitamin D is generally a decent idea for a supplement because the general population does run on the low side of vitamin D. So I don't think it's unreasonable to add vitamin D to the supplement. However, it's not really supposed to be a multivitamin, and it's not supposed to be a vitamin D product. It's supposed to be a gut health supplement. So personally, if you want some vitamin D, I'd rather you just go buy vitamin D over the counter, so vitamin D3 supplement, because it's a lot cheaper, and that way you can control how much vitamin D you're getting. You don't necessarily have to take it through the supplement. It's not harmful. It's not necessary either. It's just kind of an additive, I think, to say that they have a little bit extra in the product. So do I recommend Lemme No. 2? Honestly, I don't think Lemme No. 2 is the worst product on the planet. And I really do appreciate that they keep the claims of this product to a minimum, especially because gut health is such a topic that a lot of companies take advantage of. So I do appreciate that they keep the claims to a minimum because especially with Lemme, not all of their products and their claims are kept to a minimum. Sometimes they do make some wild claims, and if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll definitely know I've commented on that. So it's nice to see that they keep things pretty basic. When it comes to taking Lemme No. 2 for your gut health, I think at best it might help a little bit. But it's not a guarantee because everyone is so unique, and again, we just don't have a ton of data on this product. And again, we have no actual research data on this specific product alone. With that being said, it's $30 US or $44 Canadian for a 30-day supply. And personally, I would rather you spend that money on whole fiber-rich foods. We've talked about this already, but consuming fiber-rich foods is just one of the best things you can do to support your gut health. And I really, really wish that people would focus more on whole food rather than trying to take a supplement to be a band-aid solution to their problems. The issue is that people aren't bombarded with whole foods, buy from the grocery store kinds of ads. They are bombarded with supplement ads like this. And so it is tempting to want to try a product because it seems like it's going to help a lot. If you are considering taking a probiotic supplement, of course I'm going to tell you that it's best to work with your healthcare provider because they can look at the concerns you have and try to address the root cause. And maybe if they do want you to take a probiotic, they can find some strains that are best suited for you. In terms of different probiotic supplements, I haven't reviewed a ton. I have reviewed seed before a very long time ago, and when I was taking that probiotic, I'm not taking it anymore, but when I was taking that probiotic, I did really enjoy it. But that's just one example. There are tons of probiotic supplements out there with a variety of different strains and doses depending on different conditions and desired outcomes. Because of that, it is good to work with a professional who focuses on probiotics and gut health because they can lead you in the right direction and see if it's even worth taking for you. Generally speaking, when you are looking at maybe taking a probiotic supplement, the general rule of thumb is that the more strains, the better in terms of diversity, as well as doses higher than 1 billion CFUs, ideally much higher than that. In terms of Lemme No. 2, I'm just not convinced that this is necessary for most people. And I wouldn't recommend it as a first option, especially for a probiotic supplement and a fiber supplement. If Lemme were to provide more evidence to support their product, then I would definitely be open-minded to changing my mind. However, they provide no data to go off of, and based on the ingredients that we have available, I'm just not convinced that it's going to be this magical thing that helps you that much that it is worth buying. And with that, I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other products or topics that you want me to cover. And if you did enjoy this video, I would love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel because your support helps me reach more people like you. And I'll see you in the next video.